I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. Have y'all been watching this event about this Chinese balloon that was sent over America, and was for 5 days it was just flying over America, picking up information? This was an act of war. This was a shot across the bow. I don't know what's Joe Biden thinking about? What's the rest of them? Listen, I mean, this was a shot across. China said, I mean, let me ask you, would you let somebody, float something into your house like that? This was an act of war. China is saying to America, y'all ain't who you think you are. And we're going to show y'all. We will come in your front door and eat your lunch. This was an act of war by China, everybody. I don't know where everybody was there. We should be firing missiles back at, you should see that warmongering and pat the man talking about starting another war. And, well, what? They ain't starting no war. They started the war when they sent the balloon, man. They the one started the war. Well, ain't nobody die. You don't know who gonna die. You don't know who died. You don't know what. Listen, they could have sent that balloon over here with some of that COVID in it. You know they said they got from that library, whatever it was that they had over there in China going back a few years ago. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Let me tell you something. So they shot the balloon down, The balloon could have been spraying something as it went across, zigzagging across. First it came in across Idaho, Montana, first Alaska, and then down Idaho, and Kansas, Missouri, and then out to North Carolina. It could have been spraying some stuff that you can't taste, nor smell, nor see. See, people started acting crazy. Let me tell you something. This was an act of war. You just don't do that. Joe Biden need to be jacking up Xi Jinping right now with some rhetoric like, what Sam Hill do you think you are doing? I want to find out who's responsible for this. But this was an act of war. I can tell you this, that I think that this is the Chinese year of the rat. They got all these strange. They believe in the rats. They must have, anyway. The year of the rat, the year of the dragon, the year of the snake, the year of the rabbit. I think if we were to have some scholars look at Confucius' religion and all that stuff, we might discover, right, what they're planning on doing next. Let me tell you something. You don't slap America in the face like this and then kick America's rear end, and it's all over with. This is whatever was China's significance in sending this balloon, it ain't over with. And by the way, usually they lie, say, oh, we didn't know what happened. It got loose. A weather balloon got loose. They're not even trying to say that. They didn't even try to say it was a weather balloon got loose, because they sent one over Latin America too. By the way, I was in what else? I don't know what grade I was in. But in the Weekly Reader, there's this pilot named Francis Gary Powers. First of all, I thought his name was Francis. That's a girl's name, right? Francis Gary Powers, right? He was flying over Russia in a U-2 plane. This U-2 plane could fly like, I don't know, 5,000, 50,000, what was it, 50,000 feet above the earth. It had these long winds. I learned this when I was in school down in North Carolina. That's what they taught. They did a good job. Listen, the North Carolina school system did a good job. They educated me. I'm educating you. You're being educated right now because of North Carolina school system in Jim Crow. And Francis Gary Powell. And see if we can pull up his U-2 plane. That plane, that's him right there. He was flying a reconnaissance espionage over Russia, right? This plane, and the reason why I could go up so high is because it had these wings and this little small body. It was a one-seater plane, and the Russians shot that thing down. The Russians shot that, and then America, what was it, Eisenhower said it was, it was just a weather plane going off course. It lied through their teeth. But I remember that. But countries spy on one another. This was not spying. That weather balloon was not spying. Now, it may have been spraying. By the way, if it came across your state, and it doesn't matter, it could have been spraying something that we don't know what it was spraying. I think the engineer found that at YouTube. Look at that thing. That is a marvel of it. And this was back in 1952 or something like that. 57, I think it was. Look at that. Look at the wings on that. It's only one seater, and the rest of the fuselage, they had, because they fly so high and had to be launched in Europe to fly all the way over Russia, the fuselage and the wings are both nothing but, they're fuel tanks, right? Ain't that nothing? You like this kind of talk? See if Arnold LaFleur likes to hear about this kind of engineering. The fuel tanks, the plane has fuel in the wings, and the fuselage had one little seat for a man to sit in by himself. They shot that bad boy down. Russia shot that thing down. I don't know what they used to shoot it down, but they shot it down. And they put Francis Gary Powell. Anyway, so the fact that what was that balloon spraying? And I would think, what do they call it? The wind that that carries that flows from west to east, that it would have carried the plane. I mean, if that balloon had come in over Montana, it would have stayed pretty much in the northern states, over New York and back out into sea and over to England. That thing dropped down. So they were engineering that thing to drop down over Kansas, over Missouri, over places. It wasn't like an accident. This wasn't a balloon. And they're not, by the way, the government never tells us anything unless they want to try to, monkey your life. But they don't tell us the truth. They don't tell us, why Biden didn't shoot it down. They haven't told us. We don't even know whether or not Biden has gone ahead and sold out our nation to China and signed a secret non-aggression pact with China, and within 20 years we'll all be speaking Mandarin or something like. You don't know. You don't know what I trust these people. You don't know what these people are doing. You have no idea. I'm gonna tell you this: all these people are crooked as all outdoors. But the one thing that you can always be assured of, if it ain't no money behind it, ain't nobody doing it. If it ain't no money behind it. By the way, when I see all these black people marching up down the street, Black Lives Matter, people ain't paying. People aren't paying that in the tickets. But the black people ain't got no money. All they got is a big mouth, but they ain't got no money. And listen, if it ain't no money involved in it, and ain't nothing to it. I can tell you that. You can talk all you want. You can walk that way. But if there ain't no money involved in it, but who knows whether or not, that something has not been sold out, that, somebody's made a secret deal with China to, I don't know, spray the cornfields of Kansas. I don't know. But I can tell you this: it was an act of war. And if you Americans gonna sit out there and watch this balloon, and then you're gonna go to the Super Bowl, well, I tell you what. You know what will be? Maybe there's gonna be a balloon over the Super Bowl. Where's it gonna play that? Where's the Super? Maybe the state. All y'all sitting up in there drunk as skunks, yelling and screaming, got your face painted. Sitting up in there in the Super Bowl and watching these people concussion beat their heads, beat their heart, beat themselves half to death, running up and down the field, and then here comes a balloon. I swear. You know what would be funny? If that was in the Super Bowl coming Sunday, right? And China sent a balloon right over the Super Bowl. It ain't gonna be a Goodyear blimp. It ain't gonna be that at all. It won't be that Goodyear. You talk about people trying to get out that stand. Talk about people trying to get out that. Woo! That would be something to behold. I may write a movie about that. What do you think? I think one of my writers said, let's write a movie about a Chinese balloon over the Super Bowl 62. Wouldn't that be funny? Anyway, but this is not a laughing matter. This was an act of war, and I'm not sure. One other thing, and I'm going to let y'all go. I think that Putin is going to use a nuclear weapon in Ukraine probably by the end of this month, pretty soon. I think Putin has had it with the Ukrainians. I think he's had it with that boy Zelensky running around here, meeting all these European leaders and talking about joining the Union and getting all these planes and Leopard tanks and, these all kinds of other tanks they're getting from America. I think Putin's had enough. And I think he's going to drop a nuke. And then what you going to do? If Putin drops a nuke, what you going to do? Drop a nuke on Putin? I don't know. What's America? What do you think Biden going to do? If Putin drops a nuke on Kiev, what do you think Biden going to do? Drop a nuke on Moscow? I don't think so. Everybody going to shut up. If Putin drops a nuke on Kiev, right? What you going to do? What you going to say? He's a war criminal. Well, he won't be the first one. If you ask Donald Trump, there's been a whole lot of American war criminals. We won't get into that right now, but you ask Trump, he'll tell you. So I think he's going to drop a nuke. And he may be working, China's Magog and Russia's Gog. He may be working in concert with the fact that here's the scenario. Check this out. So they examined the payload on that balloon that they shot down over South Carolina, and then they find it was filled with ricin or anthrax or nuclear waste and whatnot, and they won't tell anybody. But the scientists will report top secret information to Joe Biden that they had that balloon was filled with chemical warfare that could wipe out 40, 50 million people in one fell swoop, right? So then Putin, who was working in cohorts with, who's Gog, according to the Bible, Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 2, and Revelation chapter 20. So Gog and Magog are working together. Gog is Russia, Magog is China, right? And they're working together. So Putin says, I've had enough of this Zelensky boy. I've had enough of all this stuff going on. I had enough of these, these Europeans. I've had enough of them. And he drops a nuke on Kiev, right? That's it. What's America? What's the European Union going to do? Fire a nuke? They're all going to shut up and go run. That's what they're going to shut their mouths. But when he drops that nuke, then Xi Jinping will send another balloon, right? And said, if you shoot it out the air, it's going to fill the air with a contaminant. Now, if I'm going to let the balloon sit over Kansas City or sit over the arches in St. Louis, Missouri, it'll stay there for 40 days. But if you shoot it down, it's going to let loose chemical warfare that'll kill 50 million people in the heartland. So don't shoot it down and don't retaliate with another nuke. You think that? By the way, people, I'm talking military strategy. I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm talking about what these two, Gog and Magog, will do. The little guy over there, the short guy with no hair is Gog, and the tall guy who we can't see his eyes. Chinese eyes. Anyway, he's Magog. Where do they buy their suits at, too, by the way? That's another thing I've always been interested in. Here, let me to the algorithm people. He's out there spreading disinformation. I'm simply saying what Jesus said in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 24, that there should be wars and rumors of wars. I am no more, and earthquakes in diverse places, no more so than the earthquake that just took place in Syria and Turkey. That is a reality that nobody knew or prophesied. The prophecy of earthquakes, and what I'm saying now is the prophecy of Jesus, that these two guys better watch out. Something's going on. That balloon, it wasn't for America's birthday party. I can tell you that right now. That balloon that they floated over America was not for America's birthday party. It wasn't for the 4th of July they set that balloon. And so you need to get your house in order. You need to get ready for some extreme times.